Hello fly tyers. Today I'm going to show you one of my newest and most favorite patterns that I've ever tied. Last year we were fishing in Colorado and we saw a whole bunch of fish and they were feeding like crazy and we were throwing everything we had at them and just couldn't catch any. Finally, I put on a leech pattern and I stripped it through there and was able to pick up one of these fish. And when I landed him in the net, he had snails dripping off his lips. And so we got looking closer in the water and this lake was covered with snails. And that's why the fish were so big. So I opened my fly box and couldn't find anything whatsoever that even closely resembled a snail. So since then I've been on a little quest to try to find the perfect snail. So the G-Snail. What we are going to do is use olive 3/0 monocord from Danville. And I found with this snail, I want to keep my tones consistent. So this snail is going to be kind of a brown olive color. And I'm going to wrap all the way back. This is just a regular scud hook. It's the Umpqua U202. Size 16. These snails that we saw were pretty tiny. And so this snail is not very big at all. So we're first going to put some Ultra Gsnail, and it's just the regular San Juan worm Ultra Gsnail that a lot of us have tied with for years. And I'm going to wrap it a few times back there. Make sure my hook is covered with the olive. And then I'm going to wrap it down. So pretty simple up to that point. Then what I'm going to do is get some 12-pound test, good old fishing line. And I'm going to tie these on for the antenna. I'm going to crisscross them across the front of this fly. Whoops. Bring them up. And then we will simply whip finish. And it would appear that we're done, only that does not look at all like a snail. So we are literally just getting started. So I'm going to trim that just a little bit and pull out. Oh, and then I'm going to trim this end right here. Then I'm going to use my trusty Bic lighter and I'm going to burn the ends of this fishing line for his antenna, or antennae. How would you say that, Ty? Antennae? Antenna? We don't know. We are from southern Utah, so sometimes our language isn't the best. Okay, I'm going to go up and over this camera because this next part I usually light the fly on fire and I'll need to blow it out. But I'm going to burn the edge of this Ultra Gsnail. See? Knew I'd light it on fire. And what that does is that gives me a little tag end coming off of that Ultra Gsnail. And what this is going to imitate is the actual snail kind of peeking out from under his shell. Give it a little more of a natural look. If you've ever watched any of my videos, you know I love UV glue. This is Loon Olive UV glue. And we're going to put it not all over the chenille, but we're going to dab some in there because I want this to have kind of an olive brown look. So I'm not going to get too carried away with the glue. But I am going to make sure that there's enough on there that it's going to shine through the shell and kind of give it an olive translucent look. Okay, so at this point it gets a little bit complicated, but I'm going to try to make it look as easy as I can. So now we're going to pull out our Loon UV clear thick glue. And the secret I found to this is I want my light right here and ready to go. Because what happens is when I dab this glue on, it'll want to drip and build up right here, which will make it extremely hard to hook a fish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building my snail shell. And you can see I am not giving that any time to drip down into the gap of my hook. Okay, that's hard now. And now I'm going to layer another part of the snail shell. You can see that really wants to drip down there, but I'm just letting it layer over the top. And I'm going to continue to layer until I have an awesome looking snail shell. Okay, that is hard as a rock now. So now probably 1 or 2 more layers. Okay, we're going to do 1 more right on top here. There we go. Okay. Now I want to emphasize you do not need a rotary vise to do this, but it does make it a lot easier. Because now I'm going to rotate it around and I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Right here on the bottom. And just make that nice and smooth so it looks like kind of the gummy underbelly of the snail. Now let's rotate it back around. Make sure we're in good focus here. And that, my friends, is the G-Snail. You can see it's got this little tag end sticking out there that makes it look natural and buggy. And we're super excited to go try this out this spring. Tyler's nodding his head up and down. And here in a moment, I will show you our snail fly box. We have been trying to fill a whole fly box full of snails. So here in just a moment, I'll show you what that looks like. Thanks again for watching the fanatical fly tying moment, and hopefully you guys can tie a few of these G-Snails and go give them a shot. Please leave some feedback on this fly in the comments and let us know how it works. Thank you.